Chris, what is our first main topic today?
This is from Neto de Aruanda. Greetings from Brazil. I was watching yesterday's show and I was thinking why the platforms don't do the special features like on DVD and Blu Ray on their platforms. I love the Eternals and the Star Wars stuff. They should do this in all their content. What do you think? Thanks.
All right. Thanks a lot for sending that in, Neto. And yeah, look, we were just talking yesterday about the fact that the big release dates for Spider-Man No Way Home for streaming, for Blu-ray and physical media, and it's coming on Stars for streaming sometime in the next 6 months. And we talked a little bit about the special features and how much we, at least in this room, really like special features. I know that was, like, I stopped buying physical media a long time ago, but for the last 2 years that I was buying a lot of physical media, the main reason I was buying it was to get those special features. I loved hearing director's commentary is one of my favorite things in the world. Like, I absolutely love that. But then also, hearing from the cinematographer why they chose shots that they did, or hearing from the writers about, creative decisions that they made, hearing from the actors about what it was like bringing these characters to life. Maybe I was really a sucker for the behind the scenes on the visual effects stuff and all that kind of stuff. But one of the big things that has been, one of the major differences between physical media and streaming is that while there is some of the streaming stuff that has special features attached to it, Avengers Endgame was a great example of that. Like, I loved all the commentaries on that, but it has kind of been one of the things that has not transferred over during this era of transition from physical media to streaming. For the most part, we don't get a lot of those bonus features. Now, there are some exceptions. You look at HBO's Game of Thrones. I used to love at the end of every episode of Game of Thrones, they do like a little mini 5 to 6 minute kind of featurette about the episode you just watched. They did the same thing for Handmaid's Tale. Is another thing and I love that stuff. But I have really lamented that for the most part on streaming, you do not get these special features. Because special features for me, and I can't speak for anybody else in the room, for me, special features are the things that take me from loving a movie to becoming very personally connected to a movie. I love Braveheart. But once I go in and watch that movie and I hear the commentary from the perspective of the director explaining every scene that goes into it, I now feel invested in that movie. And I feel my appreciation for the movie skyrockets. When you open up a physical media thing on your player and you get to see like the deleted scenes or the blooper stuff or the outtakes, it creates an emotional bond between you and the movie itself. Man, I still remember watching Bug's Life and them doing the fake outtakes at the end. That was one of the best things I've ever seen. And I remember those more clearly than I remember the movie itself. It creates this great bond and allows us to take our love and our fandom of this creative storytelling art and go to deeper levels with it. And I adore it and I love it. And we're seeing little glimpses of it, but really not a lot. And I think one of the main reasons this is the case is the fact that I get it. Any streaming thing you pull up, all it wants you to do is to watch the next thing on streaming. Now, this comes to us from Input Magazine. They wrote something really interesting about this a while ago. They said the following: Hulu, like many other services, has autoplay set up so that as soon as one thing finishes, the next one will start. Disney Plus won't start something without a click, but it'll try to get you to start something else while the credits are rolling. Netflix doesn't let me have a quiet moment from the second I open the app, and at one point or another, it had buttons to encourage skipping the opening credits or rewatching scenes that had just finished in the middle of a movie. I want to be able to sit with the movies and let them soak in, and that's often not easy to do when I'm being pushed to watch something else and move on. Because to analytics-obsessed streaming services, everything is content, and the goal is for me to be yet another number in a streaming quarterly report. I think that's incredibly insightful, what he's saying there. And I think that does kind of speak to one of the reasons we don't see, when you ask the question, why don't they include more of this stuff? I think there are two significant reasons. One reason is it costs money to make this stuff. I don't think that's the biggest reason, because compared to the movie, it's a single line in the budget. But the bigger reason is I don't think they're interested in us watching that kind of content. They want one show to end. I mean, seriously, an episode on Netflix ends, and before I've even reached down for the remote control, the next episode has started. Like, it just tries to keep you going. YouTube does the same thing. On some of my devices, I don't have the option to turn off autoplay. On many of my devices, I do, but YouTube just wants you to stay on YouTube. Keep watching the next thing. Keep watching the next thing. And really wonderful bonus content, I think, stands in the way of their objective to get that done. By the way, another great exception is Disney Plus, like The Mandalorian. When they like, you don't get special features for each episode, but when the season's done, they put out like a 6-part series about.
And it's so good.
And it's so wonderful, right? It's really great. And hopefully Netflix can kind of lead the way in showing the rest of the providers, hey, this bonus feature stuff can become valuable content in and of itself. But whatever. Rob, I mean, you have a little bit of skin in this game as a special features producer yourself on some major films. But if I can get you to isolate that out for a second and just approach this as the fan of storytelling as you are, why to you are bonus features and stuff like that special to you? And why do you think we don't see it more heavily implemented in the digital age already?
Well, first of all, like you pointed out, I love special features. I think that great special features, and especially I was a big fan of long-form documentaries, they really give you insight into the process, not just how things are made, but why things are made, who is making them. And obviously I worked on Lord of the Rings special features, and also some of my team went on to make the special features for The Hobbit. And those special features on the Hobbit movies are emotional in themselves. They take you on a journey of all the creative people while it was happening. And they're pretty extraordinary. And I think that they offer historical perspective. There's a lot of value in making special features. But I think what's happened with special features is, as you pointed out, John, they were expensive to make. Even though they're a fraction of what a movie costs, where does that money come from? It's not like they're going off and all the money came from, when we were making special features, from marketing. Usually theatrical marketing, or they would have home video marketing. So they had money that was earmarked. It has to come from somewhere, and the money has to come from the entity that is paying for it. And now the problem is they don't have a place to finance special features anymore like they used to. They just don't. Now, with something like Star Wars, they know that they're going to have EPK crews and people creating behind the scenes content. They know that. But they're not doing it as much as they probably should. Even on Star Wars, remember, think about when Phantom Menace came out. There was an incredible documentary on that.
It's one of the best bonus feature stuff ever was Phantom Menace.
And it was done over the entire production of the 2 years it took to make that movie. And when we worked on Superman Returns, I had money for a crew and me to be in a foreign country for a year. And I think, unfortunately, there's not enough of the audience that wants these special features. And I think people just decided that there's not as much value in them anymore as we wanted. We had a good portion of time where the DVD and Blu-ray market had special features made by auteur filmmakers that were making some incredible stuff. Our own friend Cliff Stevenson, one of the last great pieces of content I saw was the 2-hour documentary he made on the making of Knives Out, which he won a Saturn Award for. And that's a great documentary. That should be streaming somewhere. Will we see it? I don't know.
Chris, we were talking about this a little bit the other day, but, what's your connection to special features? Do you seek out special features? What kind of special features do you like? And why do you think we haven't seen that special feature move from physical media over to streaming as regularly as maybe it should?
I love special features. I'm a sucker for a gag reel, especially as an actor, where you get to just see how many mistakes you can make on set, how many choices you can try out on set. It's always so freeing to watch that gag reel where, people are improvising and just trying different lines and seeing what works. And you go, oh, okay, that makes me feel so much more free about being on set, and really, really allows me to just be in a playground, right? We, most of us, I think, saw the Peacemaker outtakes about a week ago. And
so good.
They're so good, but it also just shows you how much James Gunn was allowing people to play and just try things. And there's so much to learn from watching those, as well as just being entertained. Same with the special features. It's just super, super inspiring to see how films are made, how TV is made, and go, oh, okay, so that's how I get into that. And that's what sparks so many people to want to get into these things. I know a lot of my post-production friends watch the Mandalorian wrap-ups, right? All the behind the scenes rabidly, so they can kind of get this free masterclass in creating worlds and executing television really, really well. I think what it comes down to is what y'all were saying before is it's just not this real easy gateway to more capital, right? Maybe in an Iger world, but in a Chapek world, it's, do we want magic that gets us to some capital, or do we want to just get new revenue? Right?
That you just isolated probably the most important reason that special features sort of fell by the wayside. How do you get a monetary return?
Exactly.
And you pointed out, and reading that article, would however, whatever fraction it costs compared to the main event.
Yeah.
How do you, even if you're spending $10,000, a studio can't justify spending $10,000 if it's not going to get a return on that money. So that comes through adding subscribers. And special features by definition are supporting the main show.
Exactly.
And the main show is what's making money. So then how do you justify or quantify?
And I would argue to them that special features content done right can be every bit as revenue generating as anything else, because like, how much did it cost, like on a cost per minute basis, how much did it cost for them to put up the commentary of Anthony and Joe Russo on Avengers Endgame? I mean, it cost them a little bit of money for sure, but hardly any. And you put up stuff like that, there are going to be people, maybe not everybody, maybe not even the majority of people, but they're going to be people like us in this room who I will invest another 2.5 hours on this streaming service to watch Endgame, which I've already seen 20 times again, but hearing the commentary and the directors talking through it. And I think if they can figure that out, and if Disney or if Netflix can kind of lead the way to showing that this can become a value-add piece of content in and of itself, I think we might start seeing more of it. I just hope so.
Yeah, if that could lead to subscribers.
Yes.
Or generate more.
You know what it would do? It wouldn't generate new subscribers. I believe it would increase subscriber loyalty, though. The retention.
See, that is a very good point. And if they could figure out a way to quantify that and figure out a way like, okay, what is the relationship between people that watch special features and the subscription base or the retention? Like you said, it keeps people. It keeps.
I'll
people
tell you what, if
subscribed.
Netflix gives us that in mass with their movies, I ain't never get rid of Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you, John. I made a feature-length documentary on the making of Tron for the 20th anniversary of the film. It was nominated for an award. Unfortunately, it was finished in standard def because we didn't have HD then. So basically, standard def content is not being repurposed. I would up-res it and put it on. I think it's a very valuable documentary. It's got Jeff Bridges in it. It's got Bruce Boxleitner in it. It's got Harrison Ellenshaw, who was a big Disney, who worked on Star Wars. It's gone. It's there. There's an 88-minute documentary that I made for them that exists. Where is it? Why isn't it on Disney Plus? Why, if you watch Tron, why not? Why not up-res it?
You know what's funny is sometimes they drop these special features just on YouTube without even, when they don't have a disc.
Warner Brothers has done a lot of that.
Which
They
is
do it
a
as
shame,
marketing.
you know what I mean? But I'm just going to repeat it one more time. The Iron Man, the first Iron Man, is the best way you do everything. Like the case,
That's the best way you do everything.
like the case was the shape of Iron Man's face, and you lift it up and you get the disc. The special features was from a pre-movie all the way to post-movie.
Yeah, it
up
was
to the
really
red
good.
carpet. The only problem I have with that is it's 2 discs. I wish they found a way to make it 1 disc, because back it was just a DVD, so like they had 2 discs. But yeah, it was great. So they need to start doing that again.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about that? Are you somebody, maybe you just don't care about special features at all? You're there for the movie, and that's what you're there for. Or maybe you're someone like us that you love special features. Why don't you think they do it more regular in streaming? Do you think it could come? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there.